Over the decade that he has fought in Bellator, two things have remained true about Patricio Freire. He packs an eye-watering thump into his punches, and he has one of the most consistent arm-in guillotines you will see in MMA. That was enough to get him into the Bellator title picture and record books. But he often took an alarming amount of damage to get his 5'6" frame close enough to hit his opponents. Around 2015-2016, a noticeable change began in Pitbull, and he went from a fun slugger into one of the sport's brilliant karate boxers. There are only really two styles of karate: knockdown karate and point fighting. Knockdown karate produces hard bastards who can throw up a high kick from chest to chest range, and so a great many elite kickboxers have come through Kyokushin, Seido Keikan, and other knockdown karate styles. Point fighting styles are harder to appreciate because they are so outright ridiculous to watch, all whooping and posing to try and convince the judges to give you a point. But of course, if you transpose the ability to create and close distance that quickly onto someone who can actually fight, you've got something special coming together. Karate boxing is a made-up name given to the styles of a few modern fighters who have mounted contemporary boxing and kickboxing mechanics onto the movement and tactics of point fighting. Notable karate boxers include Kyoji Horiguchi, Rob Whittaker, Henry Cejudo, and George St. Pierre. In fact, Cejudo's own transformation into a karate hottie was inspired by Patricio Pitbull and his work with Brazilian national karate coach Mano Santana. After working with Santana, Pitbull's stance became longer and more bladed, with the high open lead hand. Standing long and side-on hampers lateral movement but increases the fighter's ability to rapidly advance and retreat on a line, turning the bout into fencing more than it is boxing. So rather than pursuing his opponents and trying to force his way into punching range, Pitbull now fell in love with the intercepting counter. Called Sen no Sen in karate, and one of the 3 initiatives I talked about in a Vice video way back in the day, the intercepting counter is about getting the other man to wholeheartedly commit to attacking you and then creating a car crash as you both step in. To get it working well, you fight from a longer distance than normal, and you need to run away a bit first. This gets the opponent charging through where you began, expecting you to retreat. Once a fighter is taking these extra steps, expecting to have to chase you, you can stop and interrupt him with a simple straight punch down the pipe, and he will run himself onto it to devastating effect. The distance that Patricio has fought at in recent years has frustrated many of his opponents. Emmanuel Sanchez began to abuse step-up left high kicks against him, attempting to cover good distance. But Patricio had the read on him in their second fight and alternated between letting Sanchez fall short and stepping up the inside to try and intercept him. Juan Archuleta showed a more typical MMA-style response to the point-fighting distance. He tried to shift in with running combinations. This meant that he was fully committed when Patricio stopped retreating, and instead popped the right straight in Archuleta's grill. Pedro Carvalho proved a nice day off from clever distancing and setups for Freire, because despite being 2 feet taller and not a great boxer, Carvalho decided to try and walk Freire down. And when Michael Chandler was presented with this exaggerated distance, he did what any explosive MMA fighter trying to fight smart does. He pumped his jab out ahead of him. Patricio reacted to the step and hit the cross counter across the top of his jab. Looping punches like this aren't scored in point karate, and the cross counter is a boxing technique that Patricio had had from the beginning. But transposed onto this frustrating, elusive stance and footwork, it worked even better. Once, twice, jobs are good 'un. Patricio Freire is attempting to rebound from a loss to the enormously talented AJ McKee this weekend. McKee fought a great game plan in the first fight, and we'll talk about that more on this week's Boycast. But with that, I have done more to advertise this fight than Bellator. You're welcome, fellas. I make these videos for fun and they aren't monetized, but I host the Jack Slack podcast twice a week and write articles at fightprimer.com. Cheers!